Hello everybody, welcome to Boom Learning. My name is Kyle. I'm a customer service manager on our help support center. You can contact us and my team at help@boomlearning.com. There you can also find a way to schedule an appointment to call one of us. So I just thought I'd let you all know in advance about that main resource. And now I'm just going to jump right into what today's webinar agenda will be. On your screen I have a little rubric, but I'll quickly explain what I mean by a few of them. We're going to start by going to the Boom Studio. So I'm going to quickly show you how to sign into your account if you haven't already, and go into the Boom Studio and explore what's in it and how to navigate around and what it's used for. Then I'm going to show you how to go to the Boom store so that we can collect teaching materials like clip art, fonts, and other little pieces that you can use to assemble Boom cards and make them for your classrooms. I'm going to show you as well how to create your own, primarily with sound, because a lot of students like to hear your voice, and there's a way to do that very easily, which I will cover in this webinar. I will then show you how to actually assemble the Boom cards themselves by putting all the pieces together and making questions on each card. I will then conclude by explaining how to publish them so that they're available in your library, so that you can assign them or create fast play links for your classrooms from what you make. I'll also show you how to share them with each other. So once someone makes a Boom card deck, you can give it to other teachers in your school or anyone you think would benefit from it by putting it directly into their library. We are going to start on the boomlearning.com homepage. So you can get there by going to boomlearning.com, and then you will see this page. Yours might be a little different. If you're already signed in, your email address will be right here at the top, so that will indicate the account that you're signed into. In my case, I'm not signed in, so I'm going to click this Sign In tab. Then I'm going to click this button in the middle that says I'm a teacher. From here you can choose how you want to sign in. You will most likely be signing in with email / username to type in your school email address or the username you set in your Boom Learning account, and also your password. You can get your password if your account is provisioned by a school by contacting your school's administrator, because they actually have the power to send you a password reset link as well. And you can also get one by clicking on this button right here. Once your email and password are entered, just click the sign in button and you should be good to go. After signing in, I'm back on the boomlearning.com homepage, and you can see here my name. You may have been sent to the Classes tab after signing in. You can just click this logo in the upper left to go back to the home page. Or you can click on the Studio tab, which is what we're going to do now, and start exploring the studio. Here you can see my studio page. All the studios have a bright red header and also a place where you can upload a picture of your author or your logo at the top. You can also choose your pen name, which is mostly important for seller accounts because this is what it shows under the decks that you publish. So if the deck says Arithmetic Grade 1 by Kyle with Boom Learning, in my case, is what would be shown, and there would also be a link to my author page there. Underneath is the author bio, which you can change at any time. The pen name, there's a $20 fee to change the pen name at a later time, but again, this is only really pertinent for sellers. So for school accounts, you can leave this as it is or set it to something simple. Down here you'll see your publisher information. So this should say either Power Plus or Ultimate. The difference between them is Power Plus is a school provided membership. So if the school is providing your membership upgrade, it will say Power Plus. This cannot sell, but it has all of the same features as Ultimate. Ultimate is a personal account that a teacher is using as a store account. So Ultimates are purchased by users so that they can establish a store and sell on the Boom Store. These tools at the top here are for sellers predominantly. We're not going to be going over them as much with this webinar, but you can check your sales, transaction history, referrals, or look at feedback, which is actually very useful for finding typos. People will tell you exactly where they are, which is very good feedback. We will be covering mostly these down here in this webinar. The Make Decks link we're going to be using quite frequently because this is how we go and look at everything you're working on. So a list of the decks that you've made with their thumbnails, names, whether they're published, can be seen from this link. The Fonts Manager is where you can store any fonts that you make or collect from the Boom Store. And this is how you make your fonts look different when editing the Boom cards with the deck editor. Images is very important. This is what appears in your Boom cards. So frames or stickers or pictures or any sort of little clip art that you want to make your cards look pretty with will be stored in the Images Manager. So we'll also be using that. Sounds is very important. I'll be going over how to record your voice so that your students can hear you inside the Boom cards, which is really useful for giving instructions. So this is very easy to do, and I'm excited to share how this works with you. Files is not as important, but you can store student report data in them if you export it as a spreadsheet. So you can upload a spreadsheet document to this or a PDF and store your reports right inside your account. Bundles we won't cover as much because they're mostly for sellers. Again, they're a way to put multiple decks into a bundle to discount them or to just include them all as a series so that it's easier for other teachers to get them. We are now going to jump into Make Decks very briefly to take a tour of what it looks like, and then we're going to go do a little bit of shopping in the Boom Store. Okay, now we are going to go ahead and click Make Decks and very briefly tour what it looks like inside of this panel. This is where we manage all of our self-created decks for our own personal use or to be sold in the marketplace. We're not going to be selling any of these from this webinar, but this guide right here has more information about making decks that could supplement this webinar. We're not going to click this right now, but this is something you can use in the future. Keep in mind that for the last segment I said that you would need Power Plus or Ultimate to create Boom cards. This is true, although with a starter membership, if your teacher account did not say Power Plus or Ultimate, with a starter free membership, you can actually create up to 5 decks. You cannot put sound into them, and they can't be sold. And you can't make more than 5 with the starter, but you can. So even if you haven't been set up yet, if your teacher account hasn't been provisioned by the school, you can participate in this, and you can actually start working on making teaching materials. As you can see, I've made some down here, but you can search for them up here. I just searched for my name, but only one of the decks has my name, so it will show the result. You can also filter them by whether they are published or not, or they are private published. In my case, all of these decks here are not in my library, so I can't assign them, I can't get data with them, I can't create a fast play link of them to actually play them with all the features that Boom Cards offers when they are published, such as randomization of card placement and the collection of student data. I'll quickly click this button up here, this new deck button. Please don't be overwhelmed by this. We're not going to cover all these buttons here, but this is what it looks like when you're actually making a boom card itself. There's lots of little tools and ways to put the elements on the card and create questions. I'll click the white back arrow to go back, and I just want to show you that now there is an untitled deck. No thumbnail inside my deck editor. So I could go inside by clicking on it again to edit it and change things about it on the cloud. The buttons underneath each deck, clone allows you to create a duplicate of the deck that you made, and this is very useful for if you found a really good design that you like. You can create a clone and then go into the clone deck and rename it, make it different questions, put different art, and sort of slide things around, and that's a really fast way to make more than one deck. Also sharing the deck. This is what will put the deck into someone's library for use. So if you want other teachers to use a deck that you've built with their classroom students, you can share it to them with this button here. If you want to use the deck yourself in your own classroom, you'd have to publish it privately, which is what this button here does. It places the deck into your library, which is a different tab that I'm circling up here with my cursor, which is where you would assign the decks to your students or create fast play links so that you can play them without signing in. Transferring is to give creative control and ownership of the deck you made to someone else. So this is what you would use for collaborating in the creation of boom cards. So you can actually give the creative ownership of the deck between different teachers to work on it and make adjustments to it, or add cards to it, or create clones of it so that they can modify it in small ways that are more appropriate for their classrooms. Just keep in mind that if you transfer it, it's no longer in your studio. It will be in their studio, and you would have to have them transfer it back to you for you to have rights to edit it again. Delete, be very careful with delete. If you click this button, it's okay. It makes you actually type delete in all capital letters before it will actually delete the deck. So just be very conscientious that you're not deleting any original decks. A lot of times people will accidentally delete original decks when they meant to delete a clone, or a copy of it that they didn't want anymore. So just be very careful about that. With all of this, we're actually going to go ahead and jump now to another segment of the webinar, which is about the Boom Store and collecting some art and fonts and things to actually put into this untitled deck, which should be very fun. Okay, we are going to go directly to the store now. So up here in the top menu bar, you'll see the Store tab. Go ahead and click on that. Here you will see quite a lot, but here's how you buy points, which become boom decks that you purchase from authors and sellers who have ultimate memberships. We won't be buying anything with points, although you can, and some schools do help provide points for the teachers, which makes collecting art and teaching materials a little easier because it opens up more opportunities. Although there are lots of free things in the Boom Store, which is what we're going to get to now. What I want to do first is up here you'll see a tab that says Images. I'm circling it. We're going to click on Images, and here we will see now a big list of clip art and little pieces and stickers and things to put into the boom cards to make them fun to look at and interesting. To get the free art, what we're going to do is in this drop down right here, I'm going to click newest to first, and then I'm going to choose price low to high. In the recording of the webinar, the little drop down doesn't show, but if you click it and look down, you will see a price low to high option near the bottom of that drop down, which will show you a new layout of what the free clip art items are. First, as you can see, there's quite a few little star shapes with numbers that you can use by this author. You can see their author name right here or underneath each of them. That's what your pen name did from before when we talked about the studio. They put that into their pen name. We can get this art quite easily by just clicking add to cart, or let's say I want a 6 and a 5, and you can see that these items are now appearing in my shopping cart, which is up here in the upper right corner. We can continue looking through and trying to find some more art if we want. Here's a green balloon. I kind of want that one. Also in another tab, I have been looking for some art. Here are some free simple background images by KM Classroom that I will also click add to cart. And as you can see, even with different tabs open, my cart is updating here in the upper right corner. Here's another image that we can use for a background. It looks like a little landscape. If I scroll down to the bottom here, there's an add to cart button, which I will use. If you would like to find these pages, I have sort of pre-prepared them, which is a little bit of a cheat. But if you would like to find them, it's as simple as following the steps I put up here in the beginning. You can actually maybe search for more. Let's see if I do price low to high for landscape. Yeah, it looks like there's some other images inside the Boom store that are free. Not just the one that I found here, but that would be quite easy to add. Here's an underwater one. That looks like fun to use. There's also one from Benta Luis project with the butterflies that I really want. I want that one, so I'm going to add that one as well. And there is a font by Endeavors in Education that's free that you can add as well. To find fonts, it would be similar to finding images in the store by clicking on the fonts button instead. Let me get rid of that search because there isn't a font called landscape. It doesn't seem to be searching. There we go. Again, price low to high. There's lots of fonts here that are 0 points that you can add directly to your shopping cart. These are free items since they cost 0 points, and if I click on the shopping cart, I will see everything that I've put inside of the shopping cart, and because it costs 0 points, I can just click checkout. Do you want to buy for free all 9 items for 0 points? Okay, I do, and purchase is complete. So these items will now be available if I click back in the Studio tab and we go down and look in Images. You will see that in my images now I have the 1, the 6, and the 5, the little green balloon, and the background bundle, and there's the butterflies. So adding things to your studio to use to make boom cards is really fun and easy, and I wish you luck in your search for these materials. We're going to move on to the next topic now, which will cover how to create sound, your voice. So we're going to jump over to explore a piece of software called Audacity. Now, I know this may be a little annoying to have to do, but I'm going to recommend that you download onto your machine that you're building boom cards with. Download a piece of software called Audacity. and that is got at audacityteam.org. That's AUDACITYTEAM.org. audacityteam.org. Click this blue button here in the middle to download it. And then based on what operating system you're using, you would download it. I am currently using Windows. You may be using Macintosh. If I click on the Windows link, it takes you to another long page. And then what I would recommend is just to click the Audacity 2.4.2 installer. You may be watching this in the future, and it may be a different version, but this is the one, the installer. If you click that here, it takes you to yet another page. I apologize. But at the very top there you will see Windows installer or the operating system that you're using installer. And if you click that link, it will bring up a download of the file that you run, which installs Audacity on your machine. Once Audacity is installed on your machine and you run it, you will get a window that looks like this. Now, I realize in the webinar you probably did not have time to actually go and do that while also listening to me. So I understand that you probably won't do this exactly along with me, but please review the recording after, because the webinar will be uploaded and it will be part of our own YouTube page, so you can review this part. Also, while this seems very overwhelming, it's actually quite short and very simple. So I'm going to demonstrate how to record your voice really quickly with this and export it into a file that Boom Learning, the platform Boom Learning, understands. First, you'll want to look at this drop down right here and just make sure it's set to your actual recording audio device, your microphone. Mine looks a bit weird because I have lots of them plugged in, but you probably will just have a laptop mic or something like that, which will be automatic. Then afterwards, when you want to record something, you just click this button right here and drag the butterfly to the flower. Foreshadowing. You'll now have a recording of yourself. Drag the butterfly to the flower. Ugh, never like hearing myself, but who does? Anyway, once you have this clip, you can click File in the upper left corner and then go down to Export, and right at the top, export as MP3. For some reason you'll see, there we go. You just choose what you want the file to look like, or the name of it rather. Drag butterfly to flower. Apologies, my keyboard is loud. I'm going to go into my sounds folder and save it there. There will be another window for metadata, but you don't need to do any of that. Just click OK, and the file will now be saved on your computer, and that's it. That's all there is to Audacity. When you want to record a new sound, just go to this little X button for the clip that you just made and click that. A lot of times you'll record yourself and not quite like how it turns out. Just click the X, click this button, and then click the square to stop the recording when you're done. And you just keep trying until you get it the same way I did to make this webinar. Okay, we are back in the Boom Studio, where we're going to take a moment to upload the things we make, including the sound we just recorded, or any clip art that we make or are licensed to use to our collection. That collection includes everything that we added to our studio from the Boom store earlier. I'm going to start by clicking on Sounds. We're going to go into our Sounds Manager. Here you can see it's pretty easy. I've already uploaded a sound that is a different instruction, but we made a new one. So I'm going to go to Upload Sounds and click that button. and then I'm going to navigate to where I saved it inside my sounds folder. Remember when we clicked File, Export, and I named it Drag Butterfly to Flower. So I'm going to click this and then go and click Open, or what I like to do is just double click it like that. And now that sound is available in our sound manager to be used inside the boom cards. I'm going to go back with the white arrow button to the studio, and I want to do the same for a picture of a bee that I made. If I go back up here, there's a file called Cute Bee. You won't have this, but it's just an example. I'm going to double click it like before, and now I have a piece of art, a cute bee, in my studio that I can use to make boom cards. You can see I also added a flower that I found earlier from the boom store that I think I might build with during this demonstration. Okay, now for the fun part. We're going to play with the deck editor itself and make some cards. So let's go back, and here's my favorite button, the one you'll use probably the most. Click Make Decks, and we're going to go to the untitled deck that we made earlier. Now, when you tried it earlier, if you did, you may have noticed that a tutorial deck was created first. You can create a new deck after that, because if there are no decks in your studio, the first one you create will always be that tutorial deck. So it's a good resource to have, but you can remove it if you want after you create your new untitled deck. Let's go ahead and click it so that we're now back inside of this big, scary editor. It's not that scary, don't worry. It's a lot like PowerPoint. I'm going to work from the top and kind of move my way down to make things easy to understand. The first thing I like to do after creating a new deck is go straight to this Details button. What I'm going to do is call it Webinar Training Deck. All I did to do that was I just clicked right on the name, and then when I clicked away, it saves, just like that. It's already in the cloud. You don't have to worry about saving or losing progress. Everything is stored on the cloud. So this change has already been put into place. Then I want to set a thumbnail for it. So I'm going to pick this little bee. You can pick any thumbnail you would like, but for this demonstration I thought I would put the bee in there because I just think it's funny how he squishes in shape. Down here you can set the grade levels that the deck is targeted towards. So I generally like to pick a few, but you can only choose a certain range of those. So I will sometimes just pick the first like this, and then maybe go back and edit it later. Keywords you can choose to help in selling the deck, but if you're just sharing and using to teach, you don't really need those. Same goes for price. Randomize is the feature that plays when your deck is published privately and it's assigned, or you send a fast pin link of it to a student. What it means is that the cards play in random order. So this is to create some unpredictability in the teaching material, and you'll notice that on multiple choice cards later that the position of those choices in the container are also randomized. So this is a good way to make a deck continue to serve a student for much longer, because each play can be significantly different. Over here in this tab you can choose the subject, so you can pick your subject in here. We are taking recommendations on new subjects quite regularly, so if you think there's a subject missing here, please let us know. Another feature is an on-screen keyboard, which helps with distance language learning if that's something that you believe that your students may need, so that they can have the keyboard directly on the screen and type the characters in. This would be necessary to type special characters in languages other than English that have diacritical marks above them or below them. The About tab is a great way to write a description of what the deck is for, and I like to start here as well to get an idea of where it's going. You can even write, this is for my second grade class, or this is for these 3 students in particular. Once you're done setting these details, I just go and click the little X button and it's saved. That information is now part of the deck. So if I go up here and click the little arrow to go back, you will see that my deck now has a little squishy bee and is called Webinar Training Deck. Okay, let's build one. I'm going to ignore this template card at the top for now. The template card can be used to force the rest of the cards to inherit a specific design. So say a multiple choice question of 4 options could be replicated all down the list, and then you just go from card to card editing what the questions and answers really are. I'm going to start from this bar here on the left to build this card, this first card. What I want to do is I want to get one of my butterflies. So as you can see here, I just click and hold and drag the widget, the image widget, onto my card. A window will automatically open, and then I can choose what I would like to be in this card. I think I want to start with my flower so that I can decide where it goes. Now, oh my, it's quite a large flower. So what you can see here is I am moving the flower around by clicking and dragging on it, and it has this blue bounding box. If I click on any of these little points here and click and drag in, I can scale it and change its shape so that it fits on the card a little better. I'm going to put my flower here. I also want a sound to explain to the student what to do. I clicked and dragged a sound widget onto the card just the way I did with the image, and it popped up a different window to choose a sound, which is to drag the butterfly to the flower. I want to make it a little bigger. I also want to put it in text on the screen so they can read it. So I'm going to click the text and drag it over. Oops, oops. And then as you can see, there's a bounding box around the text, which I can click and drag. To change the text, I just click somewhere inside, and I am going to hit the backspace and then hit the delete key a few times. Or, well, let's just say drag the butterfly to the flower. And if I change the bounding box, you can see the text will change. There are ways to stylize the text. Let's say I want this to be bold, and I want the flower to be bold. Now I'm starting to see a bit of a card, but the butterfly's not here yet. So let's take another image and add it. And I think I want to make a blue butterfly. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to scale it and put it over here. Well, let's put it on this side like this. To make them interact, now we have to make some little changes to them. What we're going to do is we're going to make this flower a drop zone. So I'm going to click right here. Once the flower is selected over on the right, I'm going to make it a drop zone. Then I'm going to click the butterfly next and make it a draggable. There are 2 little icons now inside these shapes. If I move this by clicking and dragging on the little hand and bring it to the flag, the wire now indicates that the butterfly is a correct answer or a valid answer to be placed on the flower. Up here is a little preview button, and we're going to go and look and see what this card actually looks like when a student plays it. Drag the butterfly to the flower. I'm going to click it and move it over and submit. There is still quite a bit more to the deck editor, but I would like to take a moment and step back and view some more simple examples that I created earlier to help you get a better idea of what the deck editor is capable of, using the same techniques we just did. Here in a deck that I'm working on, I have a template card at the top that actually has some information in it. Basically, I just took this multi-pix widget and dragged it onto the board, and this gives me a multiple choice container which you can use to make questions with. An example of one here, I just changed the shape of the containers inside and set it to say click or tap on the heart. If I preview this, it works like that. The reason it works is because this heart here is set to be a correct answer, which you can toggle on and off, but this is the one I want them to be rewarded for answering. And the triangle is the wrong answer, so I have it set to the wrong answer. And you can see the red border and the green border around each of those. I also have a little more complicated example of that, including with the other audio file, if you recall, explaining to click or tap on the square. I want to make a new card really quickly using the template, so down here I'm going to add new card by clicking the button at the bottom. It placed a new card number 2 here, so I want to write click or tap on the red butterfly. Because it's a template card, there's a little lock icon here. Click on that to unlock it, and then you'll be able to change it as if it weren't part of a template. Now all you need to do to change these pictures is not to drag a new image, but down here in the lower right there is an option to change the image of what's inside. So I want to choose a red one. Let's try a blue one. I like this orange color, and green. Because the red is the correct answer, I'm going to select the red, click correct, and then I'm going to set the other 3 to incorrect. Let's go preview. As you can see, multiple choices shuffle automatically, so the same card will show differently each time. If you click red, I like that sound. Click or tap on the square. So as you can see, the cards go through automatically during preview play, and that's a very simple and fast way to make a new card or an entire deck rather quickly. I'm going to go back out really quickly, and I just want to demonstrate publishing really quick. So we're going to quickly move to the next and last step, which is to publish it. I'm just going to go ahead and click, well, let's do the one we made together. I'm going to privately publish webinar training deck with a little b. Now if I go to my library, I want to make sure that I'm in the correct folder here. If I select self-published, or let's see, self-unfoldered? Self-published should be fine to find all of the decks that you make. I can see my deck. If I click on it, I will have a preview of the play of the deck. But I can also use the action button to assign it to a classroom. Or if I don't want my students to have to sign in, I will create a FastPin link, which I can send this link to them, and then they can play it without having to sign in. And this is how you actually use the deck. Once it's published, you can still go, and you'll see that it's privately published with the little icon here. You can still go inside of the deck and make changes and add new questions and new tasks to the card. So if I wanted to add my bee and maybe a couple other butterflies like this. Let's just add a shape because random is fun. And then come up with some sort of creative question that will appear in the published deck right away. You will have to create a new fast pin, but you can jump in and out of the editor to make changes freely, and because everything saves automatically, you shouldn't have to worry about making those changes whenever you want to. That's going to conclude the portion of the pre-recorded part of this webinar. We're going to move into live Q&A next. If you're viewing this in the future on YouTube, please look at the video description below, and there are links to the clip art that we used for this, as well as some links to our help center and a way to contact us if you ever need more help with this. Thank you for participating, and on to Q&A.